Imagine handing a U.S. immigration officer a business card that says, like, Vice President or Chief Innovator. I mean, you'd think it's a golden ticket to an EB-1A Extraordinary Ability Visa.
Yeah, you would definitely think so.
Mm-hmm.
But to the U.S. government, that title means absolutely nothing.
Right. Which is wild. So in today's deep dive, we are looking at an article from Advance My Profile about Criterion 8 of the EB-1A, specifically holding a critical or leading role in a distinguished organization.
Yeah, and our mission today is really to uncover why a fancy job title won't actually get you a visa and, what evidentiary blueprints actually prove you are extraordinary to immigration.
So let's bust that biggest myth right away. Since executive titles are basically meaningless to USCIS, I sort of compare it to, like a fancy restaurant menu. Calling a dish the chef's special means nothing. They want to see the exact ingredients. So if the vice president title doesn't carry weight, what ingredients actually prove authority?
I mean, that is a perfect analogy. Because they don't care what your employer calls you, they care about what authority you actually wield. And the regulations give you two distinct paths to prove this a leading role or a critical role.
Okay, so let's start with leading. I imagine this is, traditional corporate ladder stuff.
Yeah, exactly. A leading role focuses on structural and hierarchical authority. So you need org charts showing your proximity to the CEO.
Got it.
You must prove budget control, signatory authority, and literally the power to hire and fire senior staff.
But wait, corporate structures are changing so fast right now. What if you work at a flat tech startup where there is no traditional org chart or C-suite? Does that just disqualify you?
No, not at all. And that's precisely why the critical path exists, because a critical role focuses entirely on indispensability rather than hierarchy.
Oh, okay.
So say you're a principal engineer without any direct reports. You just need to prove your specialized expertise was so essential that if you suddenly quit, well, the organization would suffer a substantial negative impact.
Wait, but how does a general immigration officer objectively know if a specific engineering algorithm or, marketing strategy was actually critical to a whole company? I mean, they aren't biotech researchers or developers.
They don't. That's exactly why you have to translate technical achievements into verifiable outcomes using a before and after framework.
Oh, wow. So it's like testing a new drug in a clinical trial. You can't just say the patient got better. You have to show their exact baseline vitals before the intervention and then the exact measurable improvement afterward.
Yes, that is a perfect way to look at it. What limitation or risk was the company facing before you stepped in? What did you do? And what measurable result happened after?
Right. So you need specific KPIs and quantifiable metrics tied in individually to you.
Exactly, like introducing a methodology that saved $2 million.
Yeah.
But there's a catch. Knowing your role's definition is only half the battle. You also have to prove the organization itself is prestigious.
Right. And the article stresses that a company's own marketing brochure won't cut it.
Correct. Company marketing totally fails here. You need third-party evidence. We're talking SEC filings, venture capital funding verified through Crunchbase, or, coverage in Forbes or the Wall Street Journal.
Makes sense, because independent investors and journalists don't just part with millions of dollars or front-page space unless a company has a verifiable market position.
Right. Furthermore, the regulation uses the plural word organizations. So applicants should ideally document at least two distinct qualifying roles to build a robust case.
Okay, so let's say you have the perfect clinical trial data for your role. Two distinct positions, measurable KPIs, Wall Street Journal coverage. You'd think you are totally in the clear.
Yeah, you definitely hope so.
Yet, looking at the stats, Q4 FY 2025 EB-1A approval rates dropped to 53.4%. Why are so many applications failing at the very end despite having all this great documentation?
Well, it comes down to a legal standard known as the Kazarian framework. Specifically, Step 2, the final merits determination. It's basically where the adjudicator is allowed to take a step back, look at your whole pile of evidence, and subjectively ask, does all of this actually prove you have sustained national or international acclaim?
So impacting a single Fortune 500 company isn't enough. Your clinical trial has to change the broader field.
Exactly. Did other companies adopt your algorithm? Did independent experts validate your work? But, and this is huge, there is a massive shift happening right now. A January 2026 ruling, Mukherjee v. Miller, actually challenges this mandatory framework.
Wait, really? How so? What does that mean for someone applying today?
The Mukherjee ruling is huge because it argues the government essentially made up this final subjective test without following proper procedures. So if your visa gets denied because an officer just, didn't feel you were extraordinary enough, you now have a new procedural defense to fight back.
That is amazing news. So, distilling the core takeaway for you for the EB-1A, documented structural authority and measurable outcomes will always beat a prestigious, ego-boosting job title.
Right. It's about quantifiable impact, not just the name on the door. And that impact must leave a verifiable mark, not just on your employer, but on your entire industry.
Exactly. So we will leave you with this final provocative thought to ponder. If your current position vanished tomorrow, what specific, quantifiable footprint would be left behind to prove to a complete stranger that you were essential?